At 60, when a simple meal makes your stomach swell like a balloon and a profound exhaustion sets in by 3 in the afternoon, the standard brush-off is that it's just your age. But what if that persistent heaviness isn't age at all? What if something resilient is quietly residing inside your gut, shielded behind a slick, impenetrable layer of biofilm that standard water-based teas and basic probiotics simply slide right off? For years, you've been trying to wash a greasy fortress with plain water. Today, we are breaking down 6 everyday kitchen oils, ranked from the most modest to the strongest shield breaker with real evidence behind it. And number 1 does a job none of the others can touch, though if you are using it straight without a carrier oil, you could be making a painful mistake. Let's open the toolbox. By the end of this video, you may see your daily digestive fatigue and afternoon brain fog in an entirely different light. Here is what is quietly happening inside your aging gastrointestinal tract. As the decades pass, natural physiological shifts occur within the body. Most notably, gastric acid production tends to decrease, and the liver's biliary output slows down like an aging pump. When stomach acid and bile flow weaken, your gut loses its primary internal defense and self-cleaning mechanism. Opportunistic organisms and protective slime layers, known scientifically as biofilms, find it remarkably easy to establish residence along the gut wall. Mainstream advice often points you toward standard water-based teas, fibers, or basic probiotics, which can be wonderful for general wellness, but they often just wash harmlessly over a greasy, entrenched barrier. To address the root cause, you need a solvent capable of penetrating that lipid shield. Certain lipid-based natural compounds can support a healthier gut environment when integrated correctly as part of a balanced daily routine. Let us open the toolkit and examine how everyday kitchen oils compare when approached with realistic expectations and scientific caution. Let us start with item number 6 on our list. Castor oil. If you have spent time looking into traditional home remedies, you have likely encountered this thick, brown bottle. For generations, it has been praised as the ultimate reset button for a sluggish system. The common belief is that it acts as a direct agent against unwanted organisms, sweeping everything before it in a powerful wave. But here is the truth, and this is where clarity matters. Castor oil does not directly target or eliminate parasites. Not a single one. Yet, despite that limitation, it remains a notable component of traditional wellness routines. Its primary active compound, ricinoleic acid, interacts with specific receptors along the smooth muscle of the intestinal wall, signaling the bowel to initiate a thorough mechanical sweep. It functions effectively as a classic mechanical flush rather than a biological agent. However, this is where caution is essential, particularly for older adults. Castor oil is a potent laxative. Frequent or heavy use can disrupt your body's hydration and deplete vital mineral electrolytes, introducing genuine risks if you manage cardiovascular concerns or take routine medications that influence fluid balance. Think of it as an occasional, deliberate sweep rather than a daily habit. On a practical scale of everyday ease and safety balance for seniors, we give it a score of 6 out of 10. Let us move forward to examine the next ingredient on our list, which introduces a different layer of support. Let us look at item number 5 on our list. Pumpkin seed oil. When it comes to traditional pantry selections, pumpkin seeds have long held a quiet reputation for supporting digestive comfort. The common belief is that the natural compounds found within these seeds possess a direct ability to detach and clear unwanted entities from the intestinal wall. While the active constituent, cucurbitacin, has been noted in traditional discussions for its supportive properties in helping the digestive tract encourage natural clearance, the actual biological action is more subtle than a complete physical sweep. But here is what most people don't realize. Relying on a single food item without preparing the internal environment often leads to frustration. Pumpkin seed oil serves as a gentle, nourishing addition, providing a soothing layer for an irritated gut lining rather than an aggressive mechanism. It is exceptionally senior-friendly, though it works best as a mild, supportive component rather than a standalone fix. On our evaluation scale for everyday senior wellness and tolerability, we rate it a solid 6.5 out of 10. Now we are getting somewhere because the next selection on our list brings a powerful, time-tested culinary compound into the picture. Let us turn our attention to item number 4 on our list. Garlic. Long before modern laboratories examined the bulbs hanging in traditional kitchens, generations of families regarded garlic as an essential household staple. The common belief is that a crushed raw clove possesses an immediate, overwhelming effect against unwanted microbial elements in the gastrointestinal tract. What modern biochemistry shows us is that crushing raw garlic activates an enzyme that rapidly forms allicin, a compound that has been studied in laboratory settings for its ability to interact with cellular structures and help balance the gut microbial environment. In experimental models, garlic preparations have shown a notable capacity to suppress certain opportunistic microorganisms, sometimes matching or exceeding the baseline efficacy of standard comparator agents in controlled settings. However, raw garlic can be quite sharp and abrasive on a sensitive or aging stomach lining, and consuming it in excess may trigger digestive distress rather than comfort. The correct approach is to crush 1 or 2 fresh cloves and allow them to rest for approximately 10 minutes to let the allicin compounds fully develop before consuming them with food, or to opt for a gentler aged garlic extract if raw garlic feels too harsh. On our evaluation scale for practical senior digestive support, garlic earns a respectable score of 7 out of 10. Let us transition to the next oil on our list, which carries a rich heritage of traditional use across entire regions. Let us turn our attention to item number 3 on our list. Black seed oil. Often referred to in traditional heritage texts as black cumin or kalonji, this botanical oil has maintained a quiet presence in household wellness routines across South Asia and the Middle East for generations. The common belief is that regular consumption acts directly against unwanted metabolic buildup and provides a sweeping defense for the gastrointestinal lining. Modern scientific investigation has begun to isolate its primary active constituent, thymoquinone, noting its potential properties in experimental models where it has been observed to interact with cellular pathways and support normal inflammatory responses. For an aging digestive tract that has endured decades of dietary stress, black seed oil offers a rich, lipid-based profile that is relatively soothing to the mucosal lining. It bypasses the superficial barriers that water-based infusions cannot penetrate, acting as a supportive element rather than a definitive fix. However, a practical safety consideration is required here. Black seed oil has been associated with modest reductions in blood sugar and blood pressure levels. If you routinely manage these parameters with prescription pharmaceuticals, integrating this oil requires a thoughtful conversation with your healthcare professional to avoid unintended overlap. On our practical evaluation scale for senior wellness and tolerability, it earns a favorable score of 7.5 out of 10. Let us move to the next item on our list, which introduces a more specialized plant compound into our sequence. Moving along to item number 2, clove oil. Consider the mechanics here for a moment. Eliminating mature, unwanted organisms in the digestive tract often yields incomplete results if you overlook the reproductive cycle. The primary compound associated with cloves, eugenol, has demonstrated notable activity in experimental settings where it interacts with biological structures and helps suppress larval development or interrupt reproductive phases. Traditional formulations frequently paired a primary cleanser with a clove component for this exact reason, relying on practical experience rather than isolated biochemical terminology. When integrated into your routine, just a single drop blended thoroughly with a safe carrier oil alongside food is the standard approach, while avoiding prolonged or continuous daily application. On our practical evaluation scale for senior digestive support, clove oil earns a score of 8 out of 10. Now let us advance to the final and most powerful selection in our ranking. Now let us examine item number 1 on our list. Oregano oil. When approached with realistic expectations, this stands out as the most robust shield breaker in our group. Most people only recognize oregano as a familiar pizza seasoning, but the concentrated botanical oil pressed from the plant contains a high concentration of the active compound carvacrol. In laboratory evaluations and small-scale clinical observations, carvacrol has demonstrated a unique capacity to interact with lipid barriers, assisting in the penetration and disruption of entrenched microbial biofilms that typical water-based solutions fail to address. However, this is precisely where a crucial warning applies. Oregano oil is exceptionally potent and must never be swallowed neat or undiluted, as it can cause irritation or burning sensations in the mucous membranes of the mouth and throat. Always dilute 1 to 2 drops within a safe carrier oil, such as coconut or olive oil, and utilize it in short, mindful courses rather than continuous daily regimens. Furthermore, if you take prescription blood thinners, consulting your healthcare professional first is essential, as concentrated oregano can gently influence coagulation parameters on its own. On our practical evaluation scale for senior digestive support and potency balance, it earns our highest mark of 9 out of 10. Let us transition to the safety considerations and common mistakes to avoid. Even with the right oils in your hands, the way you approach this routine dictates whether it brings comfort or frustration. The first major mistake is impatience. Doubling your drops or increasing your frequency does not speed up the process. It only overloads your system and increases uncomfortable die-off symptoms or mucosal irritation. More is never better when dealing with concentrated plant extracts. Another frequent error is using low-quality, heavily processed, or pre-diluted grocery store extracts that lack the standardized active compounds like carvacrol or thymoquinone. Weak ingredients simply yield weak results. Furthermore, never attempt to bypass your doctor or alter your prescription medications based on a home routine. Natural oils are designed to complement a mindful lifestyle, not replace modern medical care. If you are managing chronic health conditions or taking routine pharmaceuticals, especially blood thinners or blood pressure regulators, professional guidance is mandatory before starting. Most importantly, listen closely to your body's signals. If you experience severe distress, stop immediately. And remember this critical boundary. If you have chest pain, sudden weakness, trouble breathing, blood in your stool or urine, sudden vision loss, severe abdominal pain, confusion, or severe swelling, do not try to fix it with food or supplements. Seek medical help immediately. Let us move on to how you can safely stack these habits into a sustainable daily routine. To build a sustainable daily rhythm for your digestive health after 60, focus on structured consistency rather than aggressive, short-lived measures. Establish your foundational routine around the top protective oil, integrating 1 to 2 diluted drops of concentrated oregano oil mindfully alongside a main meal during short-term courses of 1 to 2 weeks. If your system responds well and you desire additional support, layer in a gentle add-on component such as a soothing teaspoon of black seed oil or pumpkin seed oil later in the day. For periodic maintenance, utilize a mild mechanical flush with castor oil only on an occasional basis, never as a daily habit, to support natural clearance. Remember, you cannot maintain gut comfort with 3 days of effort and expect permanent results. This requires a thoughtful, steady approach. Always listen closely to your body's signals. Ease back if you feel overwhelmed, and consult a qualified healthcare professional before starting any new routine, especially if you manage underlying health conditions or take prescription medications. If you are carrying that lingering fatigue, the uncomfortable afternoon bloating, or a heavy sense of unease that no routine has managed to lift, please remember this fundamental truth. You are not broken. Your body is simply an intricate, aging vessel that may have been navigating decades of dietary habits and physiological shifts with the wrong set of tools. You are entirely capable of taking your well-being back into your own hands through gentle, consistent, and informed choices. As we embark on this 30-day journey together, I invite you to start simple. Write down your baseline symptoms today, rate your daily energy levels and digestive comfort on a scale from 1 to 10, and commit to observing how your body responds to mindful, grounded changes over the coming weeks. Notice the shifts, no matter how small they seem at first. If this conversation brought value to your evening, please leave a comment sharing your thoughts, subscribe for our upcoming discussions on liver and metabolic support, and share this video with someone who might need a gentle reminder that they are worth the effort. This video is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always talk to your doctor before changing your diet, supplements, medication, or health routine. Your energy matters. Your mobility matters. Your independence matters. Let's support your health one consistent habit at a time.